Well, thank you so much for being here with me on another episode of A Legacy of Love. Thank you once again for being here with me en otro episodio de Un Legado de Amor. I know that today will be a very empowering moment to share with you my special guest, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for being here with me today.
Oh, hi, Analee. It's great to be here. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yes, and wow, I'm surprised you were able to pronounce my name perfectly fine. A lot of people are always questioning, is it Anna? Is it Analee? Is it, and you fantastic. Yes, that's my name. Well, what do you do for a living?
I am a paraeducator. I work in a school as a teacher's aide for students who have disabilities and some who don't.
Wow, that is fantastic to be there and help out. And honestly, I honor that job. And something you didn't know, back in the day, my background is in the educational field. And I taught in Mexico and I taught even the governor's wife. So I definitely have that love and passion that you do for students. And when I was here, because a lot of my transcripts could not, a transfer, I ended up being also an aide like you. So I know that passion. It's about the heart, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I love working with students, especially other ones that have disabilities too, because I have a disability myself, and I find it just so rewarding to be able to help somebody else out that might be in a similar situation that I was in.
Wow. Well, I sure would have not imagined that you have a disability. And with that said, um, what is it that you've been facing? How did you find out? Is this something that you inherit from your family, or is this something that just happened to you? Would you like to share as much as you want?
Sure. I would love to. I have a learning disability. I have dyscalculia, which is a math learning disability. I also have limited hand dexterity in both of my hands, and I have visual perception issues that affect my brain, but not my eyes. I was diagnosed with one whenever I was in kindergarten. My teacher saw that I was really struggling in the classroom with counting, tying my shoes, dot to dot pages. And it's really interesting during that time, they didn't have specific names for learning disabilities. It was more of an umbrella term, but they knew whenever I was 5 or 6, I was not going to be a mathematician. That is one of the things we knew.
Well, I could say that if you would have wanted to, I know you would have been able to because you have a very empowering story. Before we were here, on this episode, definitely you shared so many things about yourself, and you definitely have proven a lot of people that they're
Mhm.
wrong, that even with a disability, you're able to tackle and conquer and do just so many wonderful things in your life. Is that correct?
Yes, I definitely have been able to do a lot of those things. I mean, at times in my life, it was a struggle to be able to do things, even from the very beginning with learning and being accepted with everybody. That was one of my biggest struggles when I was little, and I thought I wasn't good at anything. I can just remember I was in despair thinking, oh, life's always going to be hard and I have no talent. But God showed up and he stepped in. And one of the biggest things that did happen was my dad found a story that I wrote whenever I was in third grade, and it was about a dinosaur. And my dad said, "Wow, this is really good." And up until that point, I didn't have anyone that told me that. And I thought, okay, this really stuck with me. And reading was another thing. And that became my world whenever I was growing up and going into school. And school got easier for me academically. I was able to be in all regular ed classes except for math in a resource room. But socially, it got a lot harder for me. I really struggled to make friends. I mean, when I was in elementary school, it was more, oh, you're not my friend, or you can't play with me on the playground. But whenever I was in high school, the groups became more defined, and I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. So I found a writing group, or actually a faith-based art group for teenagers that just met right outside of my school district. And I started to find acceptance. I found other peers that were interested in what I like to do. And I started to see more of a relationship with Christ. That was the big thing too, because I was raised Catholic, but I didn't have that relationship piece. So God started to really work on my heart going there too. And also just with life. After I transitioned out of that group, I was led to a an adult writing group. And in that adult writing group, I had wonderful people that were a few years older than I was. Some were a lot older. And they got to watch me grow, not only grow as a writer, but as a person. And 20 some years later, we are still in each other's lives and we're still meeting once a month to talk about writing. And they encouraged me, you should really write about having a learning disability. I thought, oh no, that's way too personal. And I wrote some bad poetry and some other stuff I would not want to read today. But they got to see that. And then another thing with doubting my potential, I knew that I wanted to go to college afterwards, but a lot of people didn't think I could handle that because of the math. I had a learning support teacher who told me that I couldn't go to college because of my math, and she recommended a trade school, but that didn't interest me. And then I had to get tested for a learning disability all over again to get funding in college. And have never been a great test taker. And when I took the test, my scores were so low that a psychiatrist told me that I would most likely not go beyond community college. I get to community college, I faced even more stigma. I had people that were telling me, "Oh, you're going to never you're going to have really limited job choices." And other people told me that disability accommodations were cheating, but I didn't use them, and that was a big mistake. My grades suffered, but once I used them, I was able to pass my classes and I was able to graduate with an associate's degree in early childhood education. I moved out on my own, which was great because I am not able to drive because of my disability.
Mhm.
And I was enjoying working some temp jobs, but I was wanting more for myself. And be careful what you wish for, as the old adage says, because I had to move back in with my parents for financial reasons. And this was the time whenever I decided I'm going to give university a try. I found a program that had the least amount of math and science possible. It had disability accommodations, and I used them. And I had such a better experience. My grades improved. I made Dean's List for a semester, and I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree despite being told I couldn't do it. And as I went through school too, I also met my husband. He was an answer to a prayer because I thought I would never meet anybody. And when we bought our first house, I remember that they also diagnosed me with limited hand dexterity and I could not unlock our front door. So what I ended up doing, there was a call on the mighty about what's a seemingly easy task for other people, but it's hard with your disability. And I wrote about it, and I had such a great following that encouraged me to write other articles for them, and also to be able to start my own blog called Michelle's Mission, where I write about my life with a learning disability and feature my photography on my walks.
Wow. So when they told you that you couldn't do this, that you would not finish college, that you ended up doing your associates with honors, you ended up doing your bachelor's. My goodness, I would even think that if you really wanted to, you would be able to drive. Because it seems to me that whenever they've said no, something in you has said, yes, I could do this. I will prove them wrong. So, with everyone that's listening, whoever's listening, and they will on this episode, I want them to take that with them. That whenever
Mm,
they feel that they're being challenged, maybe it's the opportunity for you to face that adversity and fight and know that it is
yeah.
okay, that you will get through, right? Just like you did.
Right, and you all you need to do is be able to find maybe a different way to be able to look at the situation, or just find something different and make those choices around it.
Yes, that sounds like fantastic that you said, no, I'm going to continue pursuing
Mm-hmm.
this. And
Yep.
sometimes when you have a disability, people could tend to want to label you or see you or
Right.
treat you differently. But honestly, it's up to you, the way that you see yourself. And definitely
Yeah.
you will be projecting that you know what? It is okay. It's okay. I will be able to fulfill these dreams that I have. And you even got married. And you have a family and you have your bachelor's and you're doing just so many wonderful things that you probably at the time were thinking, will I ever would that come in
Mm-hmm.
mind when you were going through that? Did you ever have those thoughts like
Yes.
it's not going to happen, or what would go through your mind?
Well, I had a lot of fear, especially in the beginning. I was doing a lot of stuff afraid. I didn't know how it was going to work out. I thought that maybe I wouldn't be able to achieve my dreams. That was a big fear of mine that I couldn't do that. But I had to keep on trying and I had to try different things. So when one plan didn't work out, I had to go and try something else. And we had to just keep on doing that. And that's the key thing with having this is just finding different ways to do things.
What would you tell ladies or and even men that are going to
Hmm.
listen to this episode and they also have a disability and they're like in that moment they're like, "No, I don't think I'm going to do it. This is not going to work." What would you tell them?
One of the first things I would tell them is to know what they want to do and to be able to find a way to do it. That would be my first piece of advice because it might be maybe one idea may not work out, but there's enough, maybe there could be something really close to what you want to do and it's similar and you might just be happy with that. I would also tell them that success doesn't always come in the package you expect. Sometimes it comes in something even better. And that has come through for so many areas of my life where I thought, oh, if this didn't happen, oh, I'm a failure or this isn't successful. But it turns out that things worked out even better. And it wasn't my plan, but it was an even greater one.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. And sometimes we feel challenged, and a lot of people in the
Hmm.
midst of that, they just sit there and they
Yeah.
feel disappointed, depressed. They give up. They allow those
Hmm.
voices, those negative voices that we've all had. Come on, let's be real. We've had
Yeah.
voices telling us it's not going to happen. Oh, you're never going to be successful.
Right.
This is not going to happen. Listen to what they're telling you. You are just to stay there. There's not going to be more for you. But I truly believe, and I listened to you previously
Hmm.
mentioning that you believed in God and that
I
God
did.
had an enormous purpose, and we're seeing that it's already happened in your life. And I want to tell these people that are going to listen to us to never give up. No matter
Yep.
how difficult it looks, no matter how impossible, no matter how
Hmm.
challenging, there is going to be something amazing coming out of all that you have experienced in life. And I believe that everything works for the very best of those
Yes.
that believe in the Lord. And if you're not a believer, that's perfectly fine. But please believe in someone. Please believe in yourself. I think
Yes.
that that's the first step to believe in yourself and know that it is well and that you will fulfill your desires, and it's up to you. If you don't, well, that was your choice, but you've had the
Right.
opportunity, right, to pursue those dreams, to fulfill your dreams, to continue pressing on. It doesn't happen, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Exactly.
So you have to be willing
Hmm.
to work and do the hard work and focus on yourself. And you even got married. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because people that are dealing with all this are like, really? Did that really happen for her?
Well, real quick, but yeah, because we're getting close to the half hour. But
Yes.
I can tell you about getting married. I really wanted to. I had people that were telling me, "Well, you may not get married with having a disability." With that, I also had a lot of relationships that weren't working out. I even had someone breaking up with me was saying, "Oh, I think you could really drive if you wanted to," and he just wasn't okay with me having a disability. And I just thought, okay, I am tired of all these broken relationships. And I said, God, do not send me anybody until the right person came along. And God was faithful. And I met him I just met him and I couldn't have planned it. That was the beauty of it. And I was at the art center volunteering that night and I was on the street and he saw me and he goes, wow, who's that girl in that red dress? I wonder where she's going. And turns out we were going to the art center and we knew mutual friends. And there was also, and we took that whole summer to get to know each other. And then the rest was history. We were definitely together. And there was also some other signs that God placed that I didn't know until it actually happened. I had a friend from church that said, I had this dream that you got married, you had a vintage dress on, you're standing in front of the courthouse, and I don't know who the guy is. And I didn't realize, I said, okay, the vintage dress, yes, that's my style. But I thought, why would I be in front of the courthouse? And who is this person? And then we had a reception at the art center where we met at, and the photographer took us on a little walk and in the park. And right it didn't hit me until we got the pictures back, but the courthouse in our town is right in that picture with me there. And I had another friend who told me years ago, he said, "Are you seeing anybody?" And we were at the art center. I said, "Oh, no." And he goes, "I think you're going to meet somebody in a place like this." And that's exactly where I met my husband at.
Wow, what a wonderful way to end this episode. Bringing
Yeah.
hope, bringing love, bringing so many wonderful, opportunities,
Hmm.
and the way that all this happened for you. And with that said, is there a place that people could reach out to you? As you said, you've done so many things. Maybe they're
Yeah.
facing a disability and they're
Sure.
like, okay, what can I do? I need to find someone that understands me. It doesn't matter if it's a different disability, but a
Right.
disability is a disability regardless. So where could they actually reach out to you? Or maybe a book that you wrote, or share a little bit of that.
Sure, you can find me at my blog, www.mrsmichelle'smission. It has some of the stuff that I write about with learning disabilities. I have some podcasts that I've been on, and it also has the some of the my publications, and I've had some stories published in some anthologies.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm looking forward to see what more the Lord has in store for you because I know He does. And for everyone that's listening to us today, thank you so much for being here with us once again on another episode of A Legacy of Love. And thank you, Michelle. Have a very blessed day.
Thank you.